Hello and welcome. What we're going to be doing for this tutorial is making a little elephant uh, phone stand, and it's going to be made to 3D print. So I'll probably this is a really good one over here. I'm going to try to take some of the ideas from this one. Um, but these are pretty cool too, just like kind of basic shape, um, without like any like details. But I like the ear. I like the ear detail, so um, I'll put that in there. And again, we're making this to 3D print, so it's just a basic sort of shape, um, to hold onto your phone to just you can put it on your desk or wherever if you're watching something on your phone, or just a place to keep it. So there's a cute little character. So what you can do is go into Documents and then Create. So obviously log into Onshape for this one, and I'll just name it Elephant Phone Stand. Click on OK. And click on Sketch, and we're going to go on the front plane, and then N for normal 2, and then that gets us like right there. So for this one, we're going to be using the spline tool, and so this line, we're going to be using that too, to kind of line things up. So click on the line and then click on construction, and then I'm just going to make a horizontal line down like that. So I am going to be using some measurements. So I'm going to use this corner rectangle and just place it on the line, and then come up. But I also want this to be construction too. So I'm going to click on construction, click out of the corner rectangle, and just kind of click on all the faces of the corner rectangle, and then click on construction. So a construction line, the difference between a regular line and a regular like object line and a construction line is the construction line is just for like measurement purposes or boundaries, or for center point, stuff like that. Object lines you can impact with 3D modeling, such as extrude, and revolve. Notice in the revolve, you see that dotted line, that axis line. That's kind of like a construction line. So it's not used in the object, right? It's used for measurement purposes or to create an object. So that's what we're going to be doing. Um, and I'm going to be estimating sort of the sizes of this elephant too. So it looks like it's probably about 2 inches tall, and the overall is probably going to be a little bit more than that. So I'd say like 2.5 inches, 2.75, or 3/4. So that's what I'm going to make it. So I'm going to hit D for dimension. I'm going to click on this top here. So we'll make that 2.75. And then I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to make this 2 inches. So just enough. And then this kind of boxes our little character in. So it gives us kind of like a place to draw him or her, whatever the elephant is, in. Um, so looking back here, so it has like a nice swooping shape, right? And the first thing I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna just go around with this spline tool. So this spline tool try it out before you go dig in for the elephant. So just like test it out a little bit. Um, it's it's like a curving tool. So um, I'm going to start at his tail, and I'll put. And again, you can put it on. Again, these are just for like to help you sort of navigate um, the elephant. So so each point is a bend. It's an inflection point. So each point you get to bend around um, what you want to do. So then we go up here. And now that I'm looking at this, I'm actually going to so I'm going to hit escape, and I'm going to make this a little bit longer. I'm going to make it 3 inches. So that's going to give us a little more, because the trunk, I think, needs to come down quite a bit. Possibly even longer. I'm going to say 3.5 inches. Okay, that looks a little bit better. So 2 by 3.5. And what I'm doing there, I'm just double clicking in here and getting into that 3.5. And then escape. The escape key is your friend, because that gets you out. So now I'm going to go back into the spline, and I'm going to continue it. And it can go outside the line. Don't worry about containing it all within this. It's just for a reference. I'm gonna look again. So get his head in there. And then the trunk. And we'll hit escape and get out of this spline tool. So escape. And now we can kind of move these around if we want. And you'll notice that it kind of manipulates the shape, but like the entire shape too, not just one side. And that looks pretty good. And I'm gonna make his trunk. Coming down. Like so. Hit escape. And let's see. So that looks pretty good. Notice how it's kind of flat right there, so it touches the ground. We're going to need to be careful on that, because that's going to actually manipulate like how the phone sits. So that's something we're going to want to make sure that it kind of like sits flat here. Otherwise it's going to want to like tip forward. So right here, so we need to make sure that there's a flat portion on the trunk that is going to be on the ground. And again, we're just playing around with the shape and these points. You can also add in points by selecting this, and then if I wanted to add a point here, then I can actually manipulate it there as well, to give you more control over the shape. So we're just trying to get a nice shape, and you know, that looks pretty good. I might bring this back a little bit. Whoa, without screwing up the entire shape. So, oh no. And if you do run into something like this, then I mean it's just as easy to delete it and kinda go from here. So I mean it's not gonna. You're just playing with it. It's kind of like clay, right? You're just messing around, trying to get something that works. So this, I'm actually going to go below this line and I'm going to show you why in 1 second. Hit escape. So what I'm going to do is create a straight line here from this point to that point. Hit escape, and then I'm actually going to trim this out because I want this flat. I want this flat piece. Hit the trim, click there, and now this is going to be a flat piece because our phone's going to be resting here. So we want that to be touching the ground, as shown here, right? That's the flat piece because otherwise it's going to want to. He's going to come off of his legs because the phone's going to be a lot heavier than he is. So now I'm going to make this kind of part, this part here with his neck, and then his little feet, and his belly, and then the foot, and his butt, and then the tail. So I'm going to continue on with this spline. Maybe go up a little bit more before I come down. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click out here, hit escape, so I can have that flat. Line. And what you want to do is just go into the line command. And I'm just going to click on this point to that point. I'm just creating a flat line here because that's what I'm going to be needing to use that for his feet and stuff. So then I'm going to come back up with a spline and kind of create his little feet. And again, I can come back and manipulate I can manipulate these. So nothing's permanent, right? If you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. You can always just come back and fix it. So I'm not really loving that shape. So I'm just gonna come in and make it so I like it a little bit more. So I want him to have a little belly. He is an elephant after all. And you can actually slide these little points down as well. Yeah, and then that looks pretty good. So I'm going to continue with the other side. So spline. Just come up to about where his tail would be. Hit escape. So there you have it. You have a little elephant. And again, if you want to, you know, come around, maybe boost this up a little bit, whatever you want to do to get your shape right. But I don't want to mess around with this too much. It looks decent. I might want to shrink this trunk down a little bit though. There we go. Bring this down a little bit. There we go. So that looks pretty good. Then I'm going to continue trimming. I'm going to trim in here. I'm going to trim, and again, it's the scissors or the M key is the hotkey. Click on here, click on there, click on here, click on there. And now, so now it looks pretty good. And I'm not really adding, I'm not going to add in the ear yet or the eye. I'm gonna extrude him out. So again, I'm kind of making a guesstimate here. Looks like these are like full, like almost the whole length of the whole width of your phone, but I don't think they really need to be the whole width of your phone. So I'm gonna so I have a pixel, so I'll look up pixel for a width, and let's see what it is. Pixel for a measurements, and it is about 2.7 inches. So I'm gonna say like a ½ inch might be fine to hold this phone up. I'm going to extrude it out. I'm going to go a ½ inch. You know what? To be on the safe side, let's do 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch. That looks decent. And after you do this, if you want to manipulate the shape again, you can just double click into here and start messing around with the shape again. Like if you don't want this forehead like it was, I kind of like the big forehead. Go in and manipulate it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some detail. So I'm gonna put in his eye. And again, I'm just using this as a reference because I really like how this looks. So I'm gonna put his eye in there. It's low. It's like right around here. So sketch. And then I'm gonna click on this. Click on my circle. And you can make it a big eye, or a small eye, or a medium eye. And you don't really have to size that out. We're just going to cut this all the way. So go remove, and then click on through wall. So remove, click remove, and then through wall. So then it's going to be just a hole going right through. And now we're going to add that ear, that cool ear that this has, that curve. And to do that, I'm going to create another sketch, click this again, And I'm going to do this with a spline as well. So I'm going to click on spline, and I'm going to click up here, and I'm just going to make his ear come right around and hit escape. So that looks kind of cool. I'm going to actually just use, they kind of made it thicker as it got out. So I can do that also. So what I'm gonna start here and just kind of like follow it out. Just let it get a little bit thicker as you move it out. And I'm going to go out to like there, beyond the elephant. So it's beyond the elephant. And then I'm going to hit line and connect it. So this is just a shape that I'm going to use to cut out. So I'm going to hit this extrude shape, hit remove, and then I'm going to put through all again, check it off. So now it's got a little more character to it, right? You got your ear in there, and you could include other things, but I think that's good for now. So that's pretty much it. It's, again, take your time on the shape. You know, I'm looking at this right now, and I might want to like cut this out even a little bit more to round off his head. But this looks decent. So it's not bad. So once we create the shape, we're going to, I'm going to have you export the file, and I'm going to have you export the file into an STL. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow me to print this. So to export the file, you're going to right click on part 1, and then you're going to click on export. And the format's going to be STL, and you can just put your name in there. And then OK. And then what it's going to do is download an STL file. So this STL file can then be moved into a 3D printer slicing software. And I'll show you more about that. So good luck with this one. It's a pretty cool little project. Feel free to experiment and think about, maybe don't do an elephant, maybe do a giraffe, maybe do something else that you could use as a phone holder, or just like a figurine. So the reason why we made it blocky like this is because it's easy to print, right? So that's the idea behind this. It's an easy printable object. Without much support, this is gonna print flat on the printer bed. Actually, it's gonna print like this. I'm gonna put it down like this, so like this would be like facing you on the build platform, and I'll show you that also. So yeah, good luck with this, and yeah.